Finally, he just goes, real ballers adjust. He goes, yeah, doesn't matter with the ball, but a real baller can shoot with any ball. Real baller can shoot on any rim. Doesn't matter what the backboard looks like. Doesn't matter what I'm like, and he started going on, and I'm like, yeah, I hate this guy. I hate this guy.
Oh Kiddan. Hello, namaste, Kem Cho, Assalamu alaikum, and Sat Sri Akal. What up, guys? Welcome back to the Oh Kiddan podcast. I'm your host, Tej, and Tej's Pops, back with us.
My man.
Let's go.
Get the formalities out of the way. We can reach. All right. Bet.
Yeah.
Sir, keep going. Keep going.
So today we have a special guest.
That's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's special.
Listen, man, anyone who sits in that seat is special for us.
Yeah.
I feel like this is the hot seat.
It could be. Could be.
Yeah. So our special guest today is Uncle Ken.
You refer to him as Uncle Ken.
Yeah, Uncle Ken.
But he's the great. Ken the Great. No, he's my brother.
right.
He's my brother from another.
Wow.
He's actually my. I don't know if I'm going to cancel for this, but he's my colored brother.
Wow.
He's not my white brother.
You're Westerner.
He's my Western, but not so Western brother.
Okay.
Cultured.
He's my bro. Diversity. There's a lot of diversity in this room,
Yeah.
and he bottles all a lot of it. But sir, we want to thank you for allowing us to sit down with you and have this conversation, and you giving us your time. Ready to have this conversation about the beginning, the origins,
Man.
Yeah.
where it all began.
Can't talk enough about the origins.
I love reminiscing the origins,
Yeah.
and we're gonna get into some other topics, but this is where do you want to start? I guess.
All right. So first, start off with how you guys met.
How we met, man. It's like I'm not gonna pause ahead. But like that speed dating type thing where you're like real
How'd you guys
quick.
meet?
Yeah. So how did we meet?
Well, once upon a time, there were two guys who met in college.
Grad school,
Grad
man.
school.
All right.
Grad school. We met.
So I'm gonna tell you. So we met in a grad school class called Innovation and Creativity, and I always sit in the back of the room because like that's just what I do. I do not like ever any class I ever went to. I always the first thing I do is I seek to find the back of the room. That's the introvert in me. Like I don't need to be in the front. I just need to be quiet.
No,
in the
you
back.
don't want to be the teacher,
not.
professor, no?
No. Absolutely not. So let me find the back of the room, chill out, get what I need from the lecture, and move on. That's all I got to do. And there's this guy who sits next to me. Like,
It's likewise, sit in the back of the room.
okay, all right, cool. One day, I don't even remember exactly how, but I heard him talking about music first. It was music first, and he says he likes for his B.I.G. and Jay-Z and Nas, and I'm like, stereotypes, right? Stereotypes.
Yeah,
I'm like, who is this IT guy talking about he likes
IT guy?
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, that's true though.
I'm
That's
kidding
true.
though. But it was just like, oh, okay, he likes the same kind of music as me. Like,
All right.
that's how it first started, and then through whatever conversations we had. I remember we were in a hallway the first time we started talking about a little bit about each
During
other.
the breaks.
Yeah, it was like during some kind of break or something. And then it was basketball, and I was like, all right, bet. And then I found out that he lived right around the corner from where I work. So that was like, okay, well, maybe we can go hoop sometime. That's
it's always a
what
commonality.
guys have to do, right? And the rest is history.
Right.
All right.
Yeah, but I want to add a little bit to that. So that conversation turned into everything he said. And then, guys are guys. Oh, hoops. All right. You want to size me up? I'll size him up, right? Like, oh, who's better than who? And we start doing that conversation, that's how guys do. It gets into that, who's better banter.
Yeah.
But then slowly through that, we started getting more and more one, we're in class together, right? And then we kind of partnered up at some point. So that whole idea of music brought us together, then basketball commonality and creativity side of it. He's really creative dude, right? And I love creativity. So all that slowly kind of brought us together. And then his love for the culture, right? The ethnic culture. That was another for me, that was a check. Wait, what? White guy likes Indian food?
He just wanted to make sure I wasn't racist. That's all.
I mean, Bumble, Pennsylvania.
I literally
right? Like, and I just recently got a chance to go view the surroundings. I'm like, I don't know how this guy got out of there the way he did, right? at least with the taste and likings that he has, like that is not what you would expect to come out of it.
Yep.
Not how most people come out.
There you go. There you go. So it was one of those type of things, right? But lo and behold, how many years later? That's 2009.
Yeah.
2009, now 2024. Look at that. 15 years later, right? I call my brother.
Yep.
Right? Ride or die.
If 211, we're getting old.
We are getting old. Listen, man, when the gray creeped in, I knew I was old.
Yeah, that was a wrap from there.
Yeah. So I'm on that early Santa Claus, except minus hopefully not the belly. But sir.
All right, so next, what are some memorable battles on the 4 mile courts?
Look, first of all, there was memorable battles before we hit the 4 mile.
Yeah, I was gonna say we gotta rewind a little.
So when after we first met, I had a big thing because I had some bad games in college. Like people so I had a thing against playing randoms. We call them randoms, but people that we don't know on the court. And so I just did not. I was like, I want to minimize. And also too, I hadn't played in like a year and a half.
We took some time off.
So like, no, like in between from after I graduated, but before I met you, it was like a year and a half, like almost 2 years before. So I'd like also wanted to work my way back into it and not just start balling against randoms. So at first it was just became a one-on-one thing, and we would just kind of like train and we would just go at it. And we would go to the actual Georgetown, not their like
official team,
but the gym, but like they have another gym, like student gym.
Yeah.
And they had like 4, 5, 6 courts.
They had 4 courts, a track of all that.
They had everything.
Racquetball, the whole
fitness center. And so we would just go one-on-one for like 3 hours.
Yep. Going
hard, like at each other. So like that was the first memorable like battle that we would have. We go at each other.
I remember those battles. Like I remember they would get heated. A lot of arguing like guys do.
Yeah.
But I remember in those battles, like it felt like I was being challenged for once. Not for once, but like I was actually being challenged where I took some time off too. So it was my also opportunity to come back into it and get more familiar with the game, refamiliarize myself. And this guy, his playing style, because I heard so much, like he was telling me like, as college, I has to come around the screen and pop, right? He used to tell me all the time about that. I want to see this.
I wish I could do that to this day.
Man, I want to see this, right? So first time, I don't think I ever told him this. The first time when I saw him play, and I was like, all right, he's deceptively athletic, right? Like, because if you remember judging books by their cover, right? So I saw him, I was like, oh, okay, I might have to. First, I'm going to casual, like, this is going to be light work until it wasn't light work, right? Because he handled business. Like, he did his thing for sure. And then when I saw that high release arc, I'm like, oh my God, this guy shoots like that Jokic shot. Like, you're not blocking that Jokic shot.
Dirt.
But yeah, and it was pretty spot on. So it was one of those like, and then we just slowly got better. But what my favorite part about that was, I don't think I told you that either, is how we helped each other develop our games, right? Like he would see some weaknesses in my game and he would be like, Hak, do this. And I would tell him, hey, Ken, try this. Eventually to the point where he became a powerhouse post player / outside. He was basically inside and outside all day, every day. Then he helped me like become more cleaned up with like taking contact and stuff like that. So those are the more memorable memories for me.
And the other part too was it was also like I was really trying to get into shape back. So it was really helping me like get into shape because I was a lot smaller than what our audience is going to see now. They think that this guy come around the screen and shoot threes, but like back in the day,
listen, they used to separate us.
So that was also a part of it too. Was like I knew that I was gonna go get a workout. Like I was gonna be drenched at the end of the time, like because I knew we were gonna go for 3 hours.
Yeah. So that was the other thing I noticed about him, which I don't think I told you this either, is this guy, like most people I would play, they would quit halfway or not even halfway. Like maybe maybe about an hour in, I'm tired, right? Let's go do something else. Like this guy would push and just keep pushing me and himself, which was more encouraging for me, more motivating. I was like, man, this guy's like me. I'm looking in the mirror because I don't get tired. I love playing like fighting through that adversity of being tired.
Oh, don't get it twisted. I was tired, but like
we were tired.
We were just like
we were so competitive, right? And and that workout and all that. So like that's the other part I loved that I never saw or I seldom have seen in others even now.
Okay.
Like I see it in my offspring. but I don't see it where like other people I'm playing with or against, like it ain't the same.
But you want to know specifically about 4 Mile?
Yeah.
There's a lot of 4 Mile.
So we can spend like 2 hours on 4 Mile. I'll just say that my biggest memory of 4 Mile, turning your dad into a mom, like, especially with him being able to finish, because he could always shoot. Like, he could always shoot, and he would drive, and he could finish sometimes, but he couldn't finish. And so we would just be out there one-on-one, and we had a lot of like fun battles against others. But again, like we'd be out there one-on-one, because a lot of times, especially even when we started playing with randoms again, like nobody's out there in November, December. We'd be out there in hoodies, jogging pants, like the winter hats, the beanies. Yeah. Like we didn't care, right? And we'd just be going at it one-on-one. And so he would just literally come in the paint, and I would just use my power, and I would give him some contact, but I would brace him so he didn't fall, right? So like I'm give him a hit, but I would keep him from falling. I always protected him. That was my big thing. It's like I want you to learn how to finish through this tough contact, because running into me is like running into
how to finish through him.
Brick wall. And then watching him take that against other people. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And I was like, I did that. I am responsible for that. He didn't do anything. He had nothing to do. I did that.
That's yeah. I do credit him for a lot of that, learning how to finish through contact. Because I knew like if I could do it through him, the rest of you are in trouble.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. The rest of them got in trouble because this guy created that, monster, especially like once you hit that paint and the hands start flying and the body start flying, like now it was, and on top of that, him and I, we started hitting the gym.
Yeah.
We started hitting the gym, right? And that just really propelled that, oh, now I welcome contact. Please give me contact, because you're about to feel this and not want to get in the way again, right? And him and I were powerhouses down there. So, yeah.
Okay.
I was going to say, the other thing for me, too, was the number of times that we played people that would be like, who's this big white guy and this Indian guy? Like, don't run them off the court.
Oh, too many times, man.
So many times people would just underestimate us because, stereotypically, we do not look like people that are going to be out there balling, right?
You're not going to see and say, oh, they're going to dominate.
Right. And it was just always fun when we get through that first game and they'll be like, oh.
Culture shock.
Literally culture shock. So that was another, that's, like I know it happened multiple times, but there's a few that stick out, but like every time it happens.
Yeah. So like, just to piggyback on that, one element of that was my favorite, my absolute most favorite thing ever. When people did that, we wouldn't even speak to each other.
Yep.
We would just eye contact, already know what's about to happen. But it was like that. The chemistry was like that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like I remember specifically like this one guy was like, oh, this is about to be easy. We're about to finish it real quick.
Because he wanted his other boys to come on the court. We're like,
they had
no,
to get
like,
through us first.
Like, what do you mean y'all got next, but we're still here. We just
Correct.
They were trying to push us off the court, which is like a universal, right?
It's
like,
violating the code.
Violating the unwritten rules of street basketball.
Right.
Like you can get a squad and be next.
Correct.
Yeah, well, they never made it on the court. I mean, they got their squad together to play us, but they never their entire group.
So what happened was
we never left the court.
Correct. They went to the other side and hooped. Basically.
Correct.
That's what happened
after we beat them.
Correct. Of course, because it was one of those type of things, right? But him and I never communicated.
Right. We just looked at each other like
process.
That's just crazy.
Yeah.
We both
just making
heard
eye contact.
That's it.
Like we both heard it at the same time, and we're like, we just looked at each other. We already knew what time it was.
Like, literally, it was like we looked, and then cool. Right. It was that. That was it.
Wow.
So, yeah.
All right. So next question: what got you to love basketball?
You want to take that first?
No, that's all you, man.
I mean,
before you met me, though, right? That love for basketball.
Honestly, like I don't love. Like I like basketball. I know. I always liked basketball, but I never loved it. Like football. Football, I love. That's my.
But what got you to like basketball then?
I mean, it was just kind of like my secondary. I mean, I actually played a lot of street basketball, so like it was just kind of like, oh, okay, it was always fun for me. But it was never something where it's like, man, I'd love to be in the NBA one day. Like, I never thought like that. Not like I would have and even with football, I honestly didn't, because I just had a whole like playing youth football, and then my I just wasn't in the mindset. I was your age and stage, who's off camera with us, like I never had that passion to be like, I'm gonna be in the NFL or I'm gonna be like, you know, I enjoyed it to an extent, but I also like I got pushed into playing it. And for me, when I got pushed into playing it, I resisted. So I didn't have that mindset of like, this is what I want to do. I'm gonna work hard to do it. Like, you know, I watch D, like every time he gets on the field, he just feels like he's like at home.
Correct.
And natural, right?
It's
and that's
passion.
with Tej, you know, with you on the court, right? Like it wasn't like that with me. Right? I didn't enjoy the long summer practice.
You were voluntold?
Yeah. And you know, as a sixth grade, I was like sixth, seventh grade. I think I started playing when I was in fifth.
Okay.
And got pushed in, and then I played in sixth, and then I was going into my seventh, and I was like, got an appendicitis. Use that as an excuse to miss the whole season. And like I was just like, nah, I'm done for.
Oh man.
I did try out for middle school basketball and whatnot, but like I just didn't have the passion for. I enjoyed it. I liked watching.
Okay. So you said you love football though.
Now I do. So that took a while for me to like disconnect from the like
the memory of
pushing and now I look back, I'm like I wasn't really being pushed into it, but at the time I felt like it was more like you're not just going to sit around and do nothing all summer, so you're going to go play football, right? Like, and I get it now as a parent.
Right?
Like, and so shout out to Pops, like it's not his fault, right?
Right.
But I just at the time I felt that way, and I was like, I don't want to do this, and I don't know why you're making me. So you know, rebellious.
Yeah.
When I was like 12,
all go through that phase, man.
12-ish, 13. You know, I was getting to that teenage side, but it took another couple of years. And then I was like, now I liked watching.
Okay.
Then I went to an area that didn't have a football team. So it wasn't even an opportunity for me to play. So I just continued to watch. And then like it just skyrocketed once I went to college. Because we would, as a bonding, like, you know, my boys would just go watch football. Like just say, you know what I mean? So.
Okay.
All right. So now let's get into RBA.
When did you fall?
Oh man, you know, I already know the story on this. My love for basketball started in 1991. The NBA finals. We had moved here, first time ever to the country, a couple of years in, and I discovered this game with the ball that they shoot through the net. But this guy who was doing it was flying in the air and just dominating everybody.
I want to be like Mike.
Basically, right? We all wanted to be like Mike when Mike was at his heyday. And I mean, that's when I fell in love. But I actually fell in love with the like that's what kind of got me interested. My dad put a hoop outside the house, and that was his way of just not, you know, me not roaming the streets up and down, going to friends' house, right? Everybody now just comes, hangs out at our place. One of those type of things. And then it got into, I can work. And me being the super introvert, right, like yourself, sports was my avenue to basically people wanted me on their team. I get to make friends through sports because otherwise I wasn't making. Just one of those. I like to be left alone. Don't bother me. I don't want to be. Leave me alone, right? I'm not even interested in what anything's going on. But now sports is this group of guys, like almost like a brotherhood. We hoop every day outside after school. We go to the park. We hang out. Whatever it is that we do. But that's kind of like how it built. But then what I realized is that I loved the sport more than my friends did because I was out there regardless of whatever the situation. Whereas it was more casual.
Okay.
And that's kind of when I started feeling like I really love this sport a lot. Now, listen, everything from the way the ball feels to the way I hear that bounce, the way the net snaps, the way it rolls off your finger. Like I can just go on and on and on about this. It was like that for me.
Okay.
I will say that during that time, after I stopped playing, the one thing I still had, I had a neighbor who had the biggest yard. Like, oh my God. It was probably a good size, like 50 yards. It was, maybe I'm exaggerating, but that's how I remember.
Okay.
And we used to play backyard football. That was all
that's
like
fun too.
So that was always like, I just loved going out and playing backyard football with and like the whole neighborhood.
You guys play 2-hand touch or tackle?
Both.
Okay.
Both.
Yeah,
we played tackle with no pads.
Yep. We did that too, man. Back in the day, man, we did it all. Same thing.
Yeah.
We actually jumped as the jurisdiction, the time for, saying anything.
I mean, I don't know.
So we got onto a field. It's freezing weather, right? When the soil solidifies and becomes like solid,
Oh gosh, yes.
right? And it becomes almost like it can tear
Hard.
you.
Yeah.
We got on there and played tackle football, right? No pads, no nothing, just jackets and whatever else. And that was one of the most fun games I ever had. I remember knocking this kid so hard, like jacket tore, like everything's beanies came off. It was bad, but it was so much fun though. Just that's what guys do, man. Back in the day, like we didn't have all these rules, like these nowadays rules.
Snow games, snow games were so much fun.
That was the best.
Okay, so next let's get into RBA now.
Ooh,
Real ballers adjust.
Real ballers adjust.
So how did you guys come up with RBA?
RBA right here. RBA, man. I'm gonna let him tell the story.
It was all him.
No, you're the guest. You should tell us.
I know, but it all came from his brain. I had never heard this phrase before, and I don't know if that had been something he'd been concocting for a while or if it just came out for the moment. All I know was we were using that old ball, the one that's downstairs in the Think RBA podcast in the background. Yes, it was worn out, and I was just like, dude, like, we're both working professionals. We can afford, I'm going to go buy another ball. I don't know why we keep playing with this piece of junk, piece of garbage, worn out ball. And I'm complaining, right? I'm also having a particularly rough shooting night.
That's true.
And but I'm using the ball as my motivation to complain that day. And he just looks at me dead in the face. Like, I'm going to look at the camera dead in the face. And he just goes, RBA. And I just looked at him like, what'd you just say to me? RBA. And I'm not asking him, like, what does that mean? But I'm like pressing him, like, what do you, like, I don't know what you mean.
He's hot too, right?
I'm hot. I'm like, RBA. Like, probably were some
expletives
thrown. Like, what are you talking about? And he just goes, real ballers adjust. Stopped me in my track. I was like, he goes, yeah, doesn't matter with the ball, but a real baller can shoot with any ball. Real baller can shoot on any rim. Doesn't matter what the backboard looks like. Doesn't matter what I'm like, and he started going on, and I'm like, yeah, I hate this guy. I hate this guy. But I love this guy. It was great. And it was true. It was true.
To the point now where my man's wearing RBA, right? Yeah. Now we got apparel.
Yeah.
And we got a podcast, and we have other things coming, right? Clinics and stuff like that. We teach the mindset, that same mindset, right? Whatever you go through in life, RBA. I say it to you so many times. I say it to your teammates, the team all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the point was about stop complaining. It's not the ball. Yeah, the ball has something to do. But like, it's not the ball, right? Like, at the end of the day, RBA, figure out how to fix your shot to adjust to the ball, make it work.
Because my shot was hitting that, I remember, right? So if my shot's hitting, the ball's still the same for you and me.
Right.
The rim is still there. It's not moving. So, right, we got to just fix this and the mentality. But he got it like this, though.
But I've never asked you this, though. Like,
is
that something you had in your pocket, or did you literally just come up with that on the spot?
So I had the whole concept and philosophy always, but that phrase was on the spot. That phrase was direct on the spot.
Wow. How it changed the course of everything.
Really? Seriously?
And that was like probably what? 10 years ago?
11? No, maybe
10, 11 years?
12? Yeah. Around that time.
That's a long time ago.
But like even to the point where that phrase became the mantra for our 4 Mile group.
Yes.
That's how like impactful that phrase became.
Okay.
Right? Where other players on our team, I heard like Damin was a guest, right? I've heard him say it to somebody else. I was like, wait, how do you, it's picking up, right? And I don't understand the concept, which I love because that's what we're trying to teach everybody.
Yeah.
Right? RBA. And now I don't need to explain anything to anybody. I'll just say it's RBA.
Yeah. All right. So I got one more question. Last one. What does RBA mean to you?
That's deep.
That is deep. Because I would say RBA means so much because it's become now so much more than just a phrase. Like when it first started out for probably the first like 7 years,
7, 8 years,
it just was something we would say on the court, right? And a lot of times we would just say it just to jab at each other, right? Just to like talk trash,
right?
Especially if we're on opposite teams, or we'd say it to like the other people just to get under their skin, like when they're complaining about us being on the same team, whatever, like RBA, right? Like it doesn't matter, RBA. So it was a thing that we said for so long, but then as it's now morphed into like this business, things that we want to do and how we want to create things on off of it, like that becomes potentially life changing.
Absolutely.
So that's why it's hard to say, like, what does that mean? Because I've still so much in its infancy. Like what it means right now might be nothing compared to what it means 10 years from now.
Correct.
As compared to what it was 10 years ago.
Yeah, man, he said it perfectly, right? For me, like what I think of what it means is I can't encapsulate what that means in words. I just can't. Words can't justify what that means. But what I could say is that it's become a lifestyle, become a way of living. It's become a way of how I approach anything I do, right? Everything from talking to a kid I'm mentoring, or I'm training, or I'm coaching, to raising you kids, right? Even so for like your mom, she be saying it, right? Even to the point where I can use you as an example as RBA and other kids as examples and say, hey, RBA, right? And say this is what RBA means. And I can point out and give examples like how so and so, right? How D or you and other kids do something right or wrong. That is RBA, that isn't RBA, and one from a more business aspect and then also philosophical aspect. And then from what I'm noticing now, so we our teams, right? We'd always name our team RBA. Every team I've had, I've named RBA. The season goes by, the way our style of basketball is being played, and then parents, they notice that something's different. I always have, after every season, at least 2 parents that come up to me and say, what does RBA mean? What does that stand for? And when I say it, they're like, I get it. I get, because that's the way you approach the game. That's the way our kids play the game. So that's why for me, like, it's become almost like a culture, becoming a small culture, which is growing still. So I'm super proud of like where RBA has come, like, you know, between us, and how it's grown. It's almost becoming like its own organism that others are now adopting. However they utilize it in their life or however they think about it, like, I'm proud of that. And I can't wait to see where it goes.
Yep.
Well, I would also say too, like, just so we talked about it like on the business side, but the culture, but also even on the personal side, like, you know, it has helped all our 2 families stay connected too, because there is a 40 minute gap between where we live, right? We used to live a lot closer. And usually when that happens with a lot of people in the world, in this society, life takes over. And those opportunities to connect are smaller and smaller and smaller. It might be a couple of times a year, right? But that has been like this like fabric, that has continued to hold all of us together, so that it's 2 of you being able to I'm pointing to my off screen, my son, right? But like even keeping you all connected to go through your individual sports journeys in different sports versus seeing each other a handful of times a year,
right?
If that, because we just live so far away and life is busy, right? So I also appreciate it from that.
No, those are facts, absolute facts, man. So let me ask you, I have a question for you now.
Yeah, we got to grill him now. Let's go.
What does RBA mean to you?
Woo. A hot seat.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd just say it means push through it. Like basically the definition, push through it. Even when it's tough, you keep going. Like even in basketball, like when you're not, well, your shot's not hitting, do you stop shooting? No, you keep shooting until it goes in. You shoot your way out of it. You RBA it.
Okay. Sounds like you get media training.
It's like almost like he has his own podcast.
Kind of, right? No, that's awesome, man.
Let me ask you something. Where do you see Think RBA to the future?
Think RBA? I hope it grows a lot to where like a lot of people know about it. Like I honestly think it should go to the point where Think RBA is one of the biggest brands in the world.
Like your vision,
those
man.
Those are big shoes.
Those are big shoes, but
he just had big goals for us.
He
I
did.
love it though.
But you know what? From your mouth to God's ear.
That's right.
So we're working towards that, man. We're working towards that. So what else? Anything else? Anything else you got for us?
No.
So let me ask you a question. If someone like comes up to you and says, Ken, give me an elevator pitch for RBA. Like a real quick, right? Like what would you say to them?
So I think I would say that the point of RBA is about overcoming adversity. It doesn't matter what it is, whether it's sports, whether it's life. It's about being able to adjust no matter what your circumstances are. And then you figure out a way to be successful from there.
Okay. I like that.
Bing!
Man.
The elevator, we just got to.
I like that. I like that. No, that's awesome, man. That's kind of like really it. You just summarized it perfectly. So definition RBA, but we have a definition RBA.
We do.
I should have just read this.
Yeah, you just read your shirt.
Mindset to overcome any obstacle or adversity to achieve success, to defeat the odds and come up clutch in the moment.
I wasn't reading your shirt when I said it. I promise.
Okay. The other thing with RBA, I want to take it just one layer deeper, right? RBA, yes, mindset, this, that, everything. But the true test of one's ability to be RBA or not, in my opinion, is when that adversity hits, right? For example, let's take basketball or football, wherever it is. What you normally do, if it's not working, right? That's the adversity part of it. How are you adjusting? Like, what are you doing? What is, like, because you have to now reassess that situation live in the moment to make that adjustment, right? Getting reps to do that is totally different, because if you never face that, how do you know how to react? So you have to go through that moment where I just lost my cool, or my shot's just bricking today. What else can I do? Or I missed this critical pass that the QB threw me. How do I come back from this, right? We still got time. Or my shot got blocked. Am I going to put my head down?
Complain to the refs because there's no calls.
Complain to the well, that's a lot. There's a lot of kids who do that, right? So, or even if I don't complain, do I do the Luca?
The Luca.
Right? Do I just shrug my shoulders and look at my dad or the coach instead of getting back on defense and correcting my mistake? And those are those moments where if the coach or the parent says, no, go do it, go figure it out, go correct it, versus I'm going to side with the kid and yell at the ref or the coach, right? That kid can take two different viewpoints, and that can go down two very different roads, right?
Yep.
So like this, and that's why I urge even parents, like, don't baby.
Coddle.
Don't coddle your kid and let them go. This is why in our clinics, we really, like, you can speak on this. You've gone through other clinics. You've gone through other practices and other, our practices in our clinics, I feel like, and not being biased here, but I feel like are a lot more challenging.
They're a lot more intense.
Okay, a lot more intense than the casual everyday practice / clinic. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, definitely.
Right? Even to the point where we have broken kids. I've watched kids break, but again, that's the point. I'm not here to break you, obviously, but my point is to push you to the point where you say you're mentally, because usually you're physically exhausted. Cool, I can get by. I'm mentally exhausted, yeah, but now that's when it hits your emotions, when your mental gets tired. And I keep my emotions in check when I'm dead tired, right? Because that's it. Because once I get in here, I don't care how talented you are, it's a wrap, right? It's a wrap. Just recently, was hooping with some kids, high schoolers. This is not supposed to do anything. Again, in their mind, stereotypes. We had a nice little scrimmage, and Tej was there witnessing it. A lot of culture shock.
Things got a little out of hand?
Not out of hand, but it was a lot of culture shock.
Okay.
Right? And some kids, though, I saw them falling apart because they were just being pushed, and they just couldn't keep up, whether it's lack of cardio, just lack of being put through the grind, which is why I would say, like, push your kid, put your kid through the grind, especially if you want to play sports at a high level. Better you go through the grind now than some coach putting you through the grind later. And
then you're not prepared for it.
Correct. So that's the point. Like, RBA prepares you for that moment. Yep. So now this is not foreign language to you. This is a very fluent language. I know how to respond to this. Right? Versus the kid who can't. But guess what? I got selected. So and so did. As simple as that. So, and the other thing with RBA I want to say is, which is something this irritates me the most. It's never the other guy's fault. It's not the ref's fault. It's not the coach's fault. It's not my teammate's fault. What can I do?
Yep.
Accountability. What can I do to correct this? Sure, he missed the pass. That's fine. But what can I do more? Maybe I could have played harder defense. I could have go grab that board. I could have blocked better. Whatever the case is, right? It's not the other guy's fault. It's what can I do? It's not my fault, but it's what can I do to better this situation? That's the mindset we got to come with. And just in generally in life. So to me, that's RBA deeper down, which is why we got these bands, right? But on the inside of these bands, we have a message for everybody who wears them. And so would you like to?
It says bring the heat.
What does that mean?
Oh, we got it. What's the heat? What's the H?
The H stands for heart.
E.
The E, effort.
A.
Attitude,
T,
toughness.
boom.
Bring the heat.
Bring the heat. Heart, effort, attitude, toughness. All things that you what?
You get for free.
You get for free and you can control.
Control.
You can't control other things. You can't control what the coach does. You can't control what other players do. You can't control what the refs do. You can't control what other people say about you, right? But you can control the heat.
Correct. So bring the heat. This is also why it's inside the band, right? Because that's internal.
Yeah.
So that's what you control. Control what you can. Let the rest be what it is. And all that will speak for itself.
Yeah.
Cool. Sir, any other questions?
I feel
No.
like that was a mic drop.
That was a mic drop. I bet.
Yeah.
So I'm sure we'll have another part
Yeah.
of more conversations with the great Ken, my brother.
Yeah.
The great, I can't get over that.
You can't get over the great Ken?
They're not calling me the great Ken.
Ken the Great?
No, the Chico.
The Chico. All right.
There we go.
The Chico's on the other pod. Okay, we refer to you as the Chico here too then.
All
All right.
right.
That was awesome, man. I thank you for the time, man. Thank you for the trip down memory lane
Appreciate
again.
y'all.
This was fun. I love going down memory lane.
I do
Yeah.
that all day. Spend all night doing this.
For real.
I love hearing about these stories.
Our pre-kid stories.
Yeah, pre-kids.
Back when we had time to go out for 3 hours a night
Bro.
before we had these two little. Now they're about to be 11. But one is 11.
One is 11. One is about to be.
As of yesterday.
Correct. So happy belated,
Happy
sir.
birthday to the
Yeah.
D man.
Yeah, man. Yours is coming up in a little bit.
Yeah.
Like 11 years. That's crazy. But before that, man, we used to have so much time to go out.
To run them streets.
Run them 4 mile streets.
4 mile courts, man. We used to run them 4 mile courts.
4 Mile and Jenny D.
Croft and JD.
JD.
Yeah.
Jenny
And those
D.
are our spots. Jenny. And we made a lot of friends though. Right? Our RBA allowed us to make a lot, or hooping allowed us to make a lot of friends.
Yep.
But we still keep in touch today. So similar to you guys, right? A lot of friends with sports, a lot of relationships, a lot of opportunities.
Yeah.
Keep grinding.
Yeah.
Keep grinding.
That's the big message to them. Is keep grinding.
Keep grinding, man. Don't worry. And listen, when you grind, a lot of people, as for you too, D, I know you off camera, but a lot of people are going to say a lot of things. Good, bad, and ugly.
Mm-hmm.
Your job is to
Get out,
all of it, even the good,
especially the good.
right? Because the good makes you complacent. Oh,
Okay.
this is working. Nah, you got bigger goals, right?
Yeah.
So that's my message.
No, that's a great way to end it.
Yeah. So all right, man. I appreciate it again.
Thank you, Tej.
Yep. Thank you for getting on.
Yeah, man. Thank you. And then until next time, see you later. Alvida, avjo, khudafis, and sat sri akal. Oh Kiddan. Peace.
Peace. Oh Kiddan.